Potato Cat. Welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Cabin Fever. Last time, Mallory kind of wrecked our life. Then we decided, not that bad, and now we want her to stay. That's pretty much what happened. Anyways, let's continue. She smiled softly, her eyes seeming to glitter.
Cool.
Apparently she's cool with everything. Oh, what were we working on? Behind me, the 3D printer finished its work. I turned around to take the sheet of gauze with a cute potato pattern I'd printed, hoping it would amuse her and lighten her the mood. So we made her gauze, potato gauze?
Can I redress your leg now?
The pattern on the gauze made her giggle, and she nodded and sat down, propping her leg up. I prepared once again for the uncomfortable closeness that was necessary for the task. I scrubbed my hands, put on my mask and a pair of gloves, and went to sit by her with a first aid kit. We chatted idly as I cleaned and packed her wound. Afterwards, I got her set up on the couch and bid her goodnight. I wasn't exactly tired, but I figured it was better to leave things off on a pleasant note before things got awkward again. Oh, this is so pretty. Look how pretty this scene looks with all the... Although I'm concerned with the amount of glowing dust balls we have going on through our house. It looks pretty, but we'll pretend they're fairies. It's fine. I climbed up the stairs to my loft and lay in the bed, staring at the ceiling above me. I thought about how angry I'd been with her actions that morning. I thought about how scared and uncomfortable I'd felt throughout the day. How was it that now, a matter of hours later, I could feel such gentle fondness for the very same person who'd made me so upset? Moody hermit? I accused myself. Yeah, you're probably right, I thought in reply. But with that, I closed my eyes and waited for sleep. Yay, achievement! Chapter 4, Growth. I slept soundly that night and woke up feeling surprisingly good. The sun was shining, my body and mind were refreshed, and once again something smelled delicious in the kitchen-y kind of way. In a kitchen-y kind of way? Hey, I could get used to this, thought my brain. I rolled my eyes at myself as I hopped out of bed. This was the start of a new routine. It had to be. Mallory was here now, and I didn't want either one of us to be taking advantage of the other. I wonder if she'd like to learn about the systems I had set up for off-grid living. I definitely needed her to understand why certain things were important, like conserving water, obviously, but she might actually enjoy being involved with the work I did on the daily. Maybe we can share the load. She could be the Sam to my Frodo. Wow, we're nerds. My heart felt kind of bright and big at the thought of having a friend, even if just for a while. It was something to break up the mind-numbing monotony of that sweet post-apocalypse lifestyle I'd been living. I could be an okay teacher. I've taught a few online courses before for beginners wanting to learn C hashtag, C number? Isn't it supposed to be like C plus or something? Teaching someone how to feed a chicken shouldn't be any harder than that. I treaded softly down the stairs and snuck into the kitchen. Some egg medley bubbled away in the skillet, and a pot of rice was boiling over. Mallory stood... Wait, it's boiling over, that's not good. Mallory stood with her back to me, struggling to reach something high up in the cupboard.
Your pot is boiling.
Oh, you surprised me. Good morning. How did you sleep?
I'm confused on how she had to get used to her stove. It is a normal stove. Now, I personally prefer like electric laptops, but you know, my current stove is like this. Haven't caught anything on fire with it. Made sad potato rocks. What is in this jar? Anyways. She moved back to the stove to transfer the rice off the heat. Where's the rice? Is it? No, because she said it was in a pot. How's this a medley? This is just an egg. Confused. Then she picked up the skillet and gave the eggs a good toss.
I slept okay. How about you?
Another question. So, our character just has this super frilly apron in his house. I kind of want to see her character in this apron. She smiled, wiping her hands on her apron. It was my mother's apron. Okay, that answers my question. Actually, and I was pleasantly surprised to see it. It had been tucked away in the bottom drawer and forgotten about for a long time. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Great. Your couch is super comfy, and that blanket is so cozy and warm.
Good. I'm glad.
My gaze drifted to the open cupboard behind Mallory.
Did you need something from up there?
She looked back at the cupboard and let out a nervous giggle.
Yes, please. I was looking for aspirin and I thought I saw a bottle up there, but I couldn't really reach. I didn't want to risk standing up on a chair or something with my leg.
Is it getting more painful? I did notice a little redness yesterday, but I didn't think it was infected. Unless... Wait, you're not feeling sick, are you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, she injured her leg and she keeps walking around on it, so yeah, it's going to hurt. It has nothing to do with having the sickness.
No, it's just the leg. It's a bit achy.
I motioned for her to switch places with me, keeping some distance between us while I reached up and grabbed the aspirin bottle out of the cupboard. It was still half full, yet I hesitated a moment, reluctant to share my supply. But then I could order more, along with that first aid kit I needed to replace. I set the bottle on the counter and stepped away so Mallory could take it. She smiled so brightly that dimples appeared in her cheeks.
Thank you so much. You're the best.
I pressed my lips together, trying not to smile. We were so awkward. We were still standing too close to one another. I took another few steps back, clearing my throat.
Maybe it's time for another temperature check, just to be sure.
I went to grab the scanner and came back.
Could you, move your hair?
Yay, the good beep, I heard it. She lifted her bangs off her forehead so I could get a clear reading with the temperature scanner. After a few moments, the happy sound of one beep let me know she was fever-free.
Okay, you're good. But we should keep distancing until enough time has passed to know for sure.
We are social distancing pros, I see. Mallory nodded as she untied her apron. Then she did a little twirl on her good leg and offered me a plate.
How's this for a second attempt at breakfast?
Oh, look, there's steam coming off of it and everything. The food looked glorious. I knew the eggs were fresh because I'd collected them myself just a few days prior, but still, what she had done with them was beyond impressive. I see your character is easily impressed. Rough chopped vegetables and herbs gave splashes of color to the omelet, which was stuffed with steaming hot rice speckled with even more seasonings. The whole thing had a downright heavenly aroma. Oh, omelet rice! Omelet rice! Suddenly some good old Shakespeare came into my brain. Did my heart love till now? Forswear it sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this breakfast. I thought to myself, You are a nerd. Indeed.
Well, you seem to have learned how to use the stove properly.
What a nice backhanded compliment. She blushed. Oh no, I hope I hadn't embarrassed her. I meant it as a jokey, complimenty thing. You've been alone too long, I said to my brain.
Really, this is amazing, and I don't deserve it.
Oh yay! Second breakfast. If only we could have saved those poor potatoes. We enjoyed our breakfast at the dining room table, sitting across from each other just like the previous night. Through the great big windows at Mallory's back, the yard looked bright and inviting.
Looks like we'll have great weather today. I was thinking of doing some work in the garden for a while. A place like this needs a lot of maintenance. 10 acres of green space, all the off-grid systems. It's a constant running to-do list to keep everything going.
It seems pretty amazing. Is it hard to take care of it all by yourself?
It can be hard work, but it's worth it.
Well, what can I do to help?
Oh good, she asked. I looked at her, a little surprised. From what I've known of her, she does want to try to help. She's just terrible at it. Oh, we have a choice. Ask her to join you in the garden. She really should relax and stay off her feet. Well, she seems kind of okay. I think it's better to ask her to join me, and then we can get closer. And then maybe we'll be less weird around her.
I suppose you could join me if you'd like. Some fresh air might help you feel rejuvenated, speed up your healing. I could show you a little bit about my setup too. Introduce you to the hens.
She startled as though I had woken her up from a daydream. Her eyes, bright and beautiful, locked onto mine. Wow, was all I could think.
You have hens? Like little chickens that actually run around going cluck cluck? For real?
Well, it's not what a hen is. I mean, hens can be pretty big. They are female chickens that run around going cluck cluck. But close. I laughed. It hadn't occurred to me that she might not have ever seen one before, but if she came from the city, which I sort of assumed she did, then it made sense. Her childlike excitement over something so normal to me warmed my heart against its will.
Yeah, I have fish too. You want to meet them?
We have fish? What kind of fish? She raised excited fists, practically bouncing in her seat.
Yes, I do. I really do.
Okay, let's head outside then.
Yay! We get to meet fish and chickens. She jumped up, the very definition of bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Her enthusiasm was infectious and made me feel more lively too. I thought about insisting we both mask up if we were going to be spending the day in close proximity, but then I thought about it some more. And since we'd be outside with lots of space all around, and since neither of us had any symptoms, I imagine it would be fine. I feel like that thought is going to come back around and bite us in the butt later. As we headed outside, I offered Mallory a jacket. She declined. I was skeptical that she'd be warm enough in her threadbare dress, but it was her call. At least the sun was warm today, and there wasn't much wind. I let Mallory lead the way through the garden. She would stop to examine all the different growing things, all the fruits and vegetables, more than enough for one person. I often had an overabundance of produce, so I would end up canning a lot of it. Except those potatoes. R.I.P.
Oh my gosh! Are these strawberries?
I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at. I assume so, according to the sentence. There she stood in the strawberry patch, a look of total wonderment on her face.
They look so plump and juicy, and they're so red! How did you grow them?
They're actually the easiest thing to maintain around here. They grow like weeds. Pretty much every year I get 3 whole harvests out of this patch.
Really? What do you do with all of them?
I make my own jams, put them in salads, make smoothies, things like that. I dehydrate some for easy snacking too.
just trying to think about strawberry chips. It's not really my thing.
But I think they're best right off the bush. You're welcome to have some.
Her eyes widened. They were huge, and they were actually twinkling now. How did she do that?
I've never eaten a strawberry before. Are you sure?
Never? Jeez. Yeah, help yourself. Just put your index finger and thumb right behind the stem and pinch it off.
What if she's allergic? Oh, she's so happy. These are very good pictures of strawberries. What is this, tomatoes? Or are these also strawberries? I watched her reach out in search of the perfect strawberry to pluck.
Watch out for slugs.
She paused, stuck her tongue out at me in jest, and selected her perfect first strawberry.
Oh, wow. These taste just like sunshine. I could eat these every day.
I never understood that statement, tasting like sunshine. The sun is hot. Basically like eating lava. That doesn't sound too tasty to me, but to each his own.
Feast away.
I couldn't help but want to offer her everything just then. The happiness radiating off her was like addictive or something.
Oh, look. This one's shaped like a heart.
Aww.
Ooh, this one here is huge. Look how shiny and red it is. It's like something out of a picture book. Oh, there's a little bug munching on that one. Enjoy your meal, little bug.
I assume that we don't want that bug there because it might munch on everything. I smiled to myself while Mallory chatted away, eating her strawberries by the handful. I picked up my rake and started taking care of the fallen leaves that were encroaching on the garden. Mallory noticed and came over.
Can I do that?
Her smile was brighter than the sky above us.
Oh, no, that's okay. You need to go easy on your leg.
My leg feels fine. Please?
Feels fine now, but if you use it too much, it won't feel fine later. Also, your dress seems more like a shirt. I did not realize it was the short. You need more clothes. Didn't we give you clothes? She just looked so earnest. Reluctantly, I passed her the rake. While Mallory took care of the raking, I made my way to the other end of the garden, where I worked at pulling up weeds. Pretty soon, I had a bucket almost filled. When I looked around for Mallory, I saw her standing beside her leaf pile in progress, pausing to catch her breath. I felt bad for letting her take on the raking. She'd probably end up feeling pretty sore afterwards. If I gave her something like weeding, she'd probably tear up the whole garden thing. We saw what happened to the potatoes. Still, it was nice to have the help. I could already tell that the chores would go quicker this way. I watched her until she'd finished her little break and gone back to raking, or rather, until she spotted me looking at her and gave me a big thumb up, which I pretended I hadn't seen.
Do, pulling up weeds.
Why are we pretending like we didn't see it? I shook my head at myself, tossing another fistful of leafy stalks into the bucket. Something about this girl stirred up my insides. She was a cartoon princess, too happy and determined, almost too good to be real. I, for one, definitely wouldn't have been tough enough to pick up a rake with a leg injury like that. If anything, I'd have sat on the couch playing video games until it healed. So I guess I felt a feeling that was partway between admiration and total bewilderment. Because there Mallory was, her pale skin glistening as she did my yard work for me, her dress swaying and dancing around her thighs as she moved. Wait, am I still looking at her? I thought I went back to weeding. I had to put an end to this distraction. It looked like Mallory was just about finished anyway, so I carried my bucket over to her.
Looking good. Good work, I mean.
Oh, goodness. Oh, and I thought that I was bad with people.
Let's move all this stuff into the compost bin.
Okay. What's that?
What a lovely drawing of a compost bin this is. I mean that honestly. That was not sarcastic.
Basically, I put all the dead plant matter and vegetable waste I have into the tumbler. Since it's a sealed container, it traps lots of heat inside and helps the stuff break down. See the handle on the side? I use that to turn the tumbler so everything gets mixed together. Then, once it's all broken down, I mix it in with the garden soil. The compost gives the soil extra nutrients, which helps the plants grow.
Yep. My question is, what's with the random bricks over here?
It's kind of like the circle of life. I save all the peels and ends from the produce I eat, turn them into compost, and use that to grow more stuff. So the garden really provides its own nutrients for the next crop of plants that grow there.
Yay!
Wow, that's amazing.
Honestly, everyone should be doing this. It's a big part of reducing waste.
Are you trying to educate me, game?
It's like a big, friendly leaf monster. Num num num.
What a way to put it. She fed the last of the garden waste into the mouth of the bin, then patted the top of it as though praising a good dog. I nearly snorted with laughter. She was too pure for this world, really. For a few moments, we stood together admiring the garden. It looked so clean and healthy now. Then with a twinge of anxiety, I noticed how close we were to one another, how closely we'd been working. But it was probably fine. She seemed healthy, more than healthy. She was handling her injury remarkably well. Was that so-called power of positive thinking at work? Oh no, she coughed. Never mind. I lurched backwards, looking at her in horror.
Are you feeling sick?
No, sorry. It's just my throat is dry. I'm really thirsty.
When that happened to me, I choked on water and coughed off the water, and everybody looked at me like I had the plague. Oh right, we've been working for a while, and now that she mentioned it, I felt pretty parched too. Phew.
I'll go get us some water.
I dipped inside, took a few deep breaths, and went to fill a couple of stainless steel water bottles. Everything was fine. Her temperature had been normal from the get-go. She had no fatigue, no symptoms of the virus at all, apart from that one cough, which was justified. Still, it was a reminder that I shouldn't be letting my guard down. When I returned outside, I found Mallory staring up at my roof, with one hand raised to shade her eyes from the intense sunlight.
What are those? They look like shields for your house.
I looked up at the roof, where she was pointing.
Oh, sort of. They're solar panels.
Those aren't shields at all.
And they look like they could use a sweep, actually.
Shields protect you from damage. Solar panels just absorb light and turn it into electricity. That's not the same thing as a shield at all.
Why? What are they for?
I just said what they were for.
They absorb energy from the sun and turn it into power for the cabin.
What? Really?
Here. Face toward the sun and spread your arms out.
She hesitated and raised her arms up. She closed her eyes and tilted her head so the sun lit up her pale face.
Feel the warmth? That's energy from the sun, or as I like to call it, the nuclear furnace that sits in the sky 150 million kilometers away from us.
That's a very long title. I prefer sun. It's much shorter.
The solar panels take that energy and convert it into electricity. That current makes its way down to a charge controller, which turns the current into voltage for the batteries. My computer, appliances, and lights are all modified to run off that DC voltage.
The more you know.
Oh, and the charge controller is hooked up to a battery that can store all that incoming energy. So we can still run the power for a while, even when the sun has gone away.
I hope my explanation made sense. For someone who never even... I hope my explanation made sense. For someone who never seen solar panels before, the concept might be a hard one to grasp.
So you capture the sunshine and turn it into energy? Isn't that like what flowers do?
Photosynthesis? I guess. Not really. but you can make that comparison.
Yeah, that's one way of thinking about it.
The twinkle in her eyes had returned. She continued to gaze up at the panels in awe.
It's like magic.
Sure.
If we'd had something like this where I grew up, then the citywide power outages wouldn't have mattered so much.
Her smile faded a little. Suddenly the conversation felt heavy. I wanted to ask her to tell me more, but I was afraid.
Give me a few minutes to sweep the leaves off the roof. Then we can go say hi to the hens.
Yay!
Ooh, okay.
They're over there, just FYI, in case I happen to fall to my death or something.
What a lovely thing to say just before you go to clean something on your roof.
What?
Don't worry, if that happens, you can just bury me in the garden. My corpse will give lots of nutrients to the soil.
I feel this is similar to my humor, but most people would freak out about this. She gasped, clearly horrified, and I couldn't keep a straight face anymore. I laughed.
Don't kid around like that. It's not funny.
Sorry. I'll be back in a few. You rest.
Oh, is that the city over yonder? I didn't mean to click on that. So I'll just read from the history. I grabbed my ladder and broom from the shed and headed up onto the roof. I swept all the leaves from the solar panels and cleaned out all the eaves troughs for good measure. I paused to gaze down at Mallory in the garden. She looked so at peace among all the plants. Butterflies had gathered nearby on the patch of wildflowers, and she was smiling at them. I didn't think I'd ever seen such a sweeter scene. I looked across the distant hills towards what remained of the city. That was where Mallory had come from. I'd assumed so, but now that she's confirmed it with her comment about the power outages, the thought of her living there almost hurt. Even from my rooftop, I could see how everything had fallen into disrepair. I remembered the long ago announcement that public buildings would be closing down indefinitely. Sports stadiums, movie theaters, malls, and offices had all been shuttered. Even apartment complexes and private homes had to change. People were moved and shuffled around as fences went up and shared spaces became inaccessible. Anything to keep people apart from each other, or at least in their own small safety bubbles. I hadn't set foot in the city in years, and looking at it now, I had no desire to ever step foot there again. With a sad sigh, I turned my back on the ghost city and climbed down from my roof. I met Mallory in the garden and forced a smile.
Ready?
Okay, we'll end this episode here. We'll see how Mallory reacts to seeing her first live chickens. I'll see you next time. I am Tito Cat. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon.